Hey, good morning. Welcome to American Reversion. I'm Steve Smith. How are you all today? Well, in the aftermath, well, not the whole aftermath, but in the semi-aftermath of the elections Tuesday, and there's still races up in the air. I think it's important to take a look and kind of see what lessons we get from it. Some real interesting things popped up that I think give us an idea of what's going on in the country. Well, as if we needed to know what's going on in the country, right? We see the country falling apart. But there are some specifics that I found very interesting I wanted to share with you all. By the way, before I get into this, in case I forget, Patriot Nurse, and probably a lot of you follow her, put up a very interesting video today about her takeaway from the elections. I'll be honest with you, I don't remember exactly what she said. The only reason for that is because, she just went right down the line. I agree with pretty much everything she said. And so nothing stuck out. Some things will stick out when, like, they surprise you. But I was watching that, and I said, that's exactly right. And while I'm not going to parrot what she said, it did give me the idea of shooting this one today instead of another one that I was going to. So you might, I'll put the hashtag down there for her. I guess that's how you do it. I'm not sure. But anyway, after this, you might like going over and seeing what Patriot Nurse had to say about. The thing that I think a lot of us were surprised that the Republicans didn't have a bigger win. Because of how horrible things are in the country. Be it between inflation and the war and the basic economy, the southern border, everything. It was almost, and we've said it before, if you wanted to destroy this country, you couldn't find a better way to do it than what the Democrats have been doing. So how could it possibly be that they could come in fairly close, win many? Of course, we know that those are blue districts, but how could they win so many? How could they not be destroyed in this election? Well, it has to do, I think, that with a basic change of the American electorate, and we have to take a hard look at exactly what that change is. I think a lot of it's misplaced. I think a lot of people have blamed this on illegal immigration. Most of them don't vote, so you can't say that. It is a change, an evolution or a devolution, in my opinion, of the American electorate itself. And the thing that looked down, so I think that's important for us to see, because it's going to lead into what I was going to talk about today that now I'm going to talk about tomorrow, and that is an ununited states. The thing that stuck out with me, probably above all else, was the percentage for which unmarried women voted for Democrats. Now, we know that the suburban women, the white woman vote, has always been that fluctuating middle ground that very often goes toward the more liberal candidate. Now, why that is, I could go into it for a long time, not going to. There's all sorts of reasons for that. Probably many of you have your own ideas. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. 66% of unmarried women voted Democrat. Now, surprisingly, 38%? It was unusually high. I don't remember the number, so I won't say it. An unusually high number of unmarried men voted for Democrats. Now, not to rag on any particular age group of men, but men are changing. Too many of them want to be women. Too many, and I don't mean that in against women. I mean that against men, not as if women are less, but men historically have pretty much come down on the conservative side. For a number of reasons also I don't have time to get into. I've talked about that before. Let's stay on track here. So why did so many unmarried women? Now when you get to married women, it wasn't nearly that high. You know, I had the figures here. I'm not going to go through it. You can find it for yourself. Why was it so high? 2/3 of unmarried women actually voted for people who are destroying the country. Okay, a lot of it's ignorance. A lot of us just don't understand. A lot of them went and got lobotomized in college for whatever reason, but it came down to one thing. It came down to one thing, and that was abortion. Abortion. Now, they can call it reproductive rights and all that, but the killing of a child is you know, that's not reproductive rights. So it came down to abortion. And I think a lot of the younger males also voted for the Democrat candidates for that reason. Now, what we see here is that it wasn't the same among married people. Why? Because married people have an inherent sense of responsibility, okay, through experience, many, not all, that single people don't. And we have now, I know, a lot of unmarried single mothers who, unfortunately, look at the government as husband. Okay, it came to one of the surprising things from back in the Clinton years was that they found that women came to view Clinton as almost a surrogate husband. They felt that he cared more about their family than their husband did. I mean, what kind of idiocy is that? I mean, they would watch what Bill Clinton taught, how he talked, I feel your pain and all this kind of stuff, and they actually believed it. They didn't go back and learn more about the man, nor did they go back and look at his policies. They just had this feeling. So we're driven, our country is driven too often and too much by people who actually vote on their feelings. And we had too many of people who feel like we do stay at home. You know, I'm gonna talk about that again. Had a funny situation. I told everybody on yesterday's video that, hey, if you didn't vote, you don't get to comment. And one of the comments on that, the guy says, I'm here because you hurt so-and-so's feelings, and he made a video on his channel that talking about it. You know, you hurt his feelings, and he's hammering you on his channel. I didn't know the guy had a channel. And I did check it. It's fairly small. I wish it was bigger because hopefully then more people would have come over to this channel, right? But anyway. That was kind of a funny issue. If we had too many on our side that didn't fight, that didn't vote, that stayed home for any number of reasons. Okay, and I'll tell you what, when my team loses, I don't blame the other team because they played as hard as they could. I blame the people who were supposed to be on my team who didn't play. Okay, I'm going to be talking a lot more about that in the future because I think these people just need to have it brought home to them, and it's up to us to help in that regard. I'll throw in this one thing before I continue with this. I think about two friends of mine. One who didn't vote because the last time he voted for somebody, they didn't get it, and he's just disgusted with the system and all that. And then another friend of mine who didn't know how to register. They are a young person, okay? They're a young person. They weren't sure. They just let it get ahead of them. Both of those, if I had done a better job helping them get and stay involved in the system, they both would have voted. So part of that, not all of it, is on me. We each have to accept that responsibility. It's not just our responsibility to vote. That's the minimum. But we should go out there and try to have an effect. try to help those people who don't know or don't know how to get registered or don't know. And I know you can say, well, if they don't know how to get registered, they shouldn't be voting. Well, this person happens to have a very good sense of the issues, and she has a very good basic set of standards and morals. She is with us. So I'm not going to get into that, she should have known, she should have figured it out. I should have helped. I should have made sure, and I didn't. So I accept that responsibility, and we all have to do that. Let's do a better job getting those people who are in our orbit to get them lined up. This is how the Dems used to win. They'd pick people up in trucks and deliver them to the voting places. We don't do that. That's why they win. We need to do a better job. Well, let's get back to this disparity, not just of gender, but of married versus unmarried. If you notice, for those of you who like to notice, look at the books and the different things that are back behind me, and it was very interesting. Somebody noticed that one of the lanterns was turned a little bit different the other way. Yes, are there secret signals behind me sometimes? Well, sometimes there are. Sometimes they're not, but sometimes there are. If you'll notice behind me today is the war on the family. That's what we've been experiencing for a long time. If families don't fight back, the war is against the family is going to win. It's up to us, the families, the fathers, the mothers. We need to do that. The other one is the Bible. Everything rests on that. Everything. Okay. So what we have here is a disparity not just among gender, but among married versus unmarried, and that's because of how they view responsibility. Okay, the unmarried people, they want freedom. They think that they actually think this is reproductive rights because they haven't been taught that this is a life, that this is a human life. It's a precious human life. It's precious to us. It's precious to God, so it should be precious to us. That life doesn't belong to us. Nobody else's life belongs to us. It belongs to God, and when you kill it. Okay, you know where I'm going with that. Well, the interesting thing here is I ran across a Breitbart article that says, Scott Adams says that China-controlled TikTok helped Democrats win on abortion with women. Yeah. I'm not going to read it there, but yeah, TikTok is the big one, right? It's run by China. What does China want to do with America? Does it want America to be strong? No. What does it want to do with the American family? It wants to destroy the American family. Have you ever watched TikTok? I mean, I don't get on it, but I, occasionally have people send me stuff from TikTok. A lot of it's funny. A lot of it's very interesting, but that's not what the younger people are watching. They're not watching the interesting stuff, and they're usually not watching the funny stuff. They are watching these narcissistic, self-absorbed performers go on there and spew the craziest crap you've ever heard in your life. So this is really, China is affecting our elections by ruining our electorate, okay, our voter base. They're poisoning the minds of those people and assisted greatly by the Democrat Party. Josh Hawley, who I like, he's from Missouri, he has something out here. He said that Washington Republicanism lost big in midterms after caving to Democrats. Now, I'm moving a little bit from abortion won a lot of these races for the Democrats. Okay. It was not. I'll finish this up before I move to Hawley. We've always thought it's the so-called kitchen table, right? Kitchen table issues, what people sit down and talk about around the kitchen table. And everybody on the right thought, well, it's gas prices, it's inflation. When people see that they go to the store and the women see how much more they're paying for it, this is where the red, tsunami came from. They are gonna vote Democrats out like you can't believe. Who was it that said some years ago? It was a Southern senator or governor. Somebody says, when we get done, People are going to be hunting Democrats down with dogs. Well, it's not true because we have too many people who feel differently. But we all thought that this was going to be another election on the kitchen table issues. Economy, price of groceries, price of gas, right? What's happening to our country, looming war, southern border, all those things, how it's impacting the family. America is changing. That's for future videos. America is changing, and I think a lot of us don't realize the extent to which it's changing and how. Okay, we might realize the extent, but I think we're missing out on how. Now, before I leave the abortion thing, Michael Savage had an interesting idea. Now, this is going into the conspiracy theory, type of thing. But how many times did those come out right? And he talked about an enemy within. I'll be talking about that more in the future myself. And he said that the idea to address Roe v. Wade in this last year in a so-called conservative court is what set this up to make this the issue that won so much for the Democrats. Interesting thought. I don't know if that's true or not, but leave it to Savage to come up with these ideas. He's a smart guy. A lot of people don't like him, but he's a smart guy. He's the one that came up years and years and years and years ago with that, what is it, border language culture? Is that not what we have seen? He was a prophet in that regard. And I don't like a lot of his abrasiveness, but he's a smart guy, and I like a lot of what he says. Let me jump to Hawley for a minute. And he says Washington Republicanism lost big in midterms after caving to Democrats. I'll read a few things he says here. Following Tuesday night's midterm elections, where Republicans are looking to squeak out small majorities in the House and the Senate. That's right, small majorities. They might get majorities, but they're not going to get the kind of majority. It's not a mandate, and it's not something that is going to get the weak leadership in the House and the Senate, McCarthy and McConnell. These were squeakers, and these people are not going to take chances. Okay, they're not going to say, hey, the people really want us to do their job. That's the difference between having a tsunami and having a squeaker. Things aren't going to get done like they should have gotten done. So he blasted the Republican establishment for their caving to Democrats as well as corporate special interests. He says Washington Republicanism lost big Tuesday night. When your agenda is to cave to Big Pharma on insulin, cave to Chuck Schumer on gun control and a Green New Deal, and tease changes to Social Security and Medicare, you lose. That's right. You lose. Hawley called on House and Senate Republicans to put forth a fiercely economic populist agenda to help their working and lower middle class base and vastly popular positions on crime and corruption. What are Republicans actually going to do for working people? How about to start tougher tariffs on China, reshore American jobs, open up American energy full throttle, 100,000 new cops on the street, and unrig the system? All good ideas. How many of those ideas are going to be accomplished? I would say very few, if any. The reason is because of the squeakers that we got. Now, we're seeing a lot of great things happening in the states, and one of my future videos is going to be about the battle between the states and the federal government. We've seen that several times. DeSantis did a great job by not allowing federal election observers into Florida. They have no business down there. In Missouri, here they made it. They passed a law that federal agents cannot come into Missouri and try to enforce what we consider to be unconstitutional laws concerning firearms. Good. Our sheriff here in Johnson County, Kansas, said that he will have, after this 87,000 IRS agents that Biden and company want to hire, and hopefully that will stop, this will be something to watch. The Republicans said day one, if they get the House back, they will put a stop to that. Never forget that. We'll see if they do or not. We will see. But our sheriff here in Johnson County, Kansas said, I will make my deputies an army against IRS agents if they try to come into Johnson County and harass Johnson County citizens, and we'll put them in jail. That's, we're going to see the importance of local government, whether that's city, county, state. Most cities, major cities, they're long gone. They're cesspools. Those cities are the only things that are propping up a corrupt federal apparatus. Okay, those cities are. When we get out beyond that and we get to the county levels in most cases, and we get to the smaller jurisdictions, the smaller towns and cities, that's where America still resides. So we will see. I think that's. I'd be interested in hearing your comments on this and the voting disparity that we are seeing. That I think very possibly abortion won. I mean, how horrible is that to say? It's horrible to hear. It's horrible to say. Abortion won in this last, regardless of any of the victories that we might see still coming. And we have to lay that at the feet of those who continue to promote this. Okay, and we have to look at who are the people being swayed. They are to a great extent women, unmarried women especially, and younger men. Okay, older white males overwhelmingly vote conservative. More and more blacks are voting conservative. More and more Hispanics are voting conservatives. You know what's losing our elections? White females and unmarried females. Something to think about. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on this, and I'm going to start saying this because I think this channel is going to be more pertinent as time goes on, and I will ask that you like this, that you subscribe here, and that you share this. And I should have said, I meant to say, because somebody asked me the other day, yes. The way to get my books, the reversion, after which this channel is named, We Need a Reversion, and the rest of the Stonemont series, the reversion, the revival, the renewal, an appeal to heaven, and the blessings of freedom. They are available on Amazon in either paperback or Kindle. And if you'd like to buy one or a set as a Christmas present, autographed, or for yourself, if you'd like to buy a set, buy one for yourself, buy one for a friend. If you have a lot of friends, buy them all. They'll love it. You can get autographed copies from me, and all that information is down below. For those of you supporting this channel over on Patreon, we appreciate it so much. And if you're not with us, we'd love to have you over there. The way to do that is down there below. So let me know what your opinion is about this, what I've said today. I'd be interested to hear it. Remember that America needs a reversion. It needs you to be a part of it. It needs me to be a part of it. It needs all of us to be a part of it. So till tomorrow, y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.